Hello, 143 viewers. I'm Catherine Harvey, and this is Food 143. What's better than Cohasset in the summer? Ask most Cohasset residents, and they'll say nothing is better, except maybe the foods we love prepared and enjoyed at some of our favorite spots around town. I've been here 15 years, and I still haven't covered it all. So I'm going out and about around town to find out all the things Cohasset residents love about food. What we like to eat, where we like to eat it, and how we like it prepared. So come along. Food 143 viewers. Today we are at beautiful Nantasket Beach, which is still spectacular, even on a gray afternoon. I'm here today to visit with Greg and Michelle Hoffmeister at Doctor's Island Brewing. Come on inside and join me. So now we're in here in this charming little brewery right on Nantasket Beach with Greg and Michelle Hoffmeister. Welcome to Doctor's Island. Greg and Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. We're so thrilled to have you here, and I just want to know everything about this adventure that you've been on the last couple of years. I understand that this was a bit of a life change for you both. So let's hear about that first. What were you doing before Doctor's Island, and how long have you been here?
Great. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. And before Brewing, I was in commercial real estate for 25 years in Boston. Started my own real estate company and loved the sort of entrepreneurial aspects of building that business. And it was time to move on. So Michelle and I kind of conjured up our own little entrepreneurial business for the next phase.
I love it. I love everything about that. So why beer? How did you come into brewing?
I think it was like 2017. I started to homebrew. A neighbor of mine showed me, his setup, and I just became like enthralled with it. And I said, I got to try that, and started brewing small 5-gallon batches at home. And that sort of led me to be inspired to like take it to the next level and try to share it with the community.
Fantastic.
I remember the first time when we were doing the homebrew, and we did the whole process and got to the point where it was time to like try it. And I remember Greg pouring it in and had a little sip, and he's like, tastes like beer.
Yeah.
I think we had it on video. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I think I thought it was going to be more complicated than it really is, but it was pretty cool to.
It wasn't the best, but
it was drinkable.
Like
it was drinkable, and
success.
Then from there, you start to get a little better with the process, a little more, sharp with how to make good beer. So it's still a learning curve. We're not totally there yet. I don't think you ever get there. With a small system like we have.
It's never finished. It's an ongoing process.
It really is like baking or cooking, where you may follow a recipe, but then you start to riff off of it and see what little things.
Creativity.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun.
And we tried a lot of different types and batches when we were homebrewing, and we had a lot of beer that we couldn't drink it all. So we started like putting it out on social media. Hey, we're starting up this thing. And Google ended up targeting our little house as like Black Rock Brewing Company, which was the first name of the brewery. And we'd be giving away beer, and people would come by and get different flavors. And it's been fun that a lot of those people have actually now come into the brewery and like worn their first generation merch. And so that's been kind of a fun part of the process to those that followed us from the beginning, and tried our beer when it wasn't very good.
Community around it.
Yeah.
That's so.
Yeah.
Did you either one of you have food and beverage experience coming into this, or you just let's wing it?
No.
I was a real baker, but besides that, no beer, no.
Not from the business side at all.
No.
No, just
No restaurant experience or anything.
No.
I was a cook for a little while in Maine.
Summer
But
job.
no
Summer
real
job.
experience.
We were just ready for something new, and we didn't want to go very big. And you can tell this is a nice little quaint tap room, which we can get our arms around, and it was a perfect sort of step for us, not having been in the food or beverage business and how to run a retail shop and all those things have been steep learning curves, but I think it's just how the size of it makes it doable.
Manageable.
Yeah, manageable.
Yeah, that's outstanding. So you found the space, acquired the space, renovated. What was that process like? What was here before? I can't recall what was here.
It was Hull's Kitchen, which was a tiny little,
Okay.
yeah, great little restaurant run by a husband and wife. For 16 years, they ran it. And we were looking around for the right spot, and we tried a couple different places. We looked real deep into the aquarium building at the end of the beach.
Yes.
So we thought long and hard about that, which would have been a whole different business.
That's a huge space.
Huge.
Yeah.
And thankfully,
That would have been more of a beer hall.
It would have- yeah. So we're real thankful that we opted for this and not that. And this has proved to be the perfect spot. And we also loved that on a nice day, you can see the island from the porch.
Can you really?
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
a perfect location
Yeah.
for this, and right on the beach, beautiful view. Not a bad seat in the house. I mean, it's great. It's perfect for what you're doing.
Very unique. I mean, I think also, we had patience because we knew we wanted to be in Hull because of the tie-in to my family's ownership of the island for generations, which is in Hull, and that was just a big part of the impetus or the inspiration to create the brand around Doctor's Island. So we were just waiting for the right real estate opportunity to come along, and then this came on the market, and we just knew right away it was the perfect spot.
So let's talk about Doctor's Island, because I've driven by it 12,000 times and I had heard a couple of things here and there. So give me the whole story. This belongs to your family?
Yeah. So it got into our family in the early 1940s. My great-grandfather inherited the island from his business partner, whose name was Horace Cook, and they were in the grain business in Boston. And Horace had owned the island for, I think, 20 or 30 years up until that point, and had brought my great-grandfather over, and he became, enthralled with it. And I think Horace just knew he was the perfect person to take it over when he passed on. So that's how it got into the family. And then since then, my grandparents grew up going out there. My mom and her sister grew up going out there in the summers, and my sister and I and our kids. So it's just been generations of fun out on the island.
And just so our viewers understand, that's when you're coming from Cohasset into Hull, and you just turn up by Black Rock Beach. It's right off Black Rock Beach, right?
Yeah. The red
you can
shutters,
just see
the little cottage.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so charming.
Yeah.
And so, what's it like out there? Rustic, I would imagine.
Totally rustic. Yeah.
It's inhabited mostly by birds, seagulls, cormorants.
So maintenance must be quite an undertaking.
Yeah.
Always, that was sort of my memory of going out there on weekends in the summer when I was little growing up. My grandfather was always doing a project, always shingling one side of the house, shingling the other side of the house, retooling the shutters. There was always something on the agenda for the weekend. So it was always a working weekend, if you will. So, but we made the most of it, and we've kept it up. We had some people go out there a few years ago and do a whole sort of shoring up of the house and a little bit underneath for support. So it's just been I don't know how it lasts through the winters, some of the storms over the years. I think it's just situated perfectly right on the top of the rock.
And how are you getting out there? You just
We're taking a boat.
Jump out
Yeah,
on the boat.
It was always a little aluminum boat with a 4-horsepower motor. We'd have to watch the weather and time up the tides and get out there safely. But now Michelle and I, we live right across from the island, and so now it's more paddle boards, kayaks, swim. Yeah, we're a little more versatile now.
Yeah.
So because we're close, but our whole family for generations grew up in Needham, so coming to the island was always a trip. Coming down to Hull, pack the car, get ready for the long weekend, go back to Needham when it was done. So big operation, sort of the whole thing. But now it's much easier. It's sort of in the backyard, and we can take advantage of it more often.
Yeah. But it is real rustic out there. There's no electricity, no water, so you really need to bring everything out there that you need. And
all your brewing equipment.
exactly. Yes.
That's what people want to. Yeah, people want to go out there and brew some beer.
Yeah.
But the other thing that a lot of people ask is, why is it called Doctor's Island? Why is the brewery called Doctor's Island? And as far as I know, my great grandfather wasn't a doctor. Horace Cook wasn't a doctor, but they did have several friends who were doctors, particularly one named Dr. Emerson, who was a pretty prominent South Shore doctor back in like the early 1900s. And I think when they saw the flag flying and they knew the crew was out there, people always would just refer to the island and say, "Oh, the doctors must be out there again." And over the years, that became known as Doctor's Island whenever the flag was up.
A little piece of local lore or mythology, maybe. That's terrific. That's so great. So let's talk about what your offerings are. Tell us a little bit about what's on the menu, beer-wise, food-wise, and take me through it.
Well, when we were trying to figure out sort of our business plan and what we wanted this place to be like, we wanted it to be like a real nice, kind of clean and tidy place in Hull that people could come and sit, look at the ocean, meet up with friends, make new friends. And we really wanted to make it a nice place for the community to hang out. And, people from Cohasset, people from Hull, people from Hingham, so we decided we wanted to brew pretty much low alcohol beers that are easy to drink. Yeah. Things that anyone could come in and try a couple different flavors and varieties and, drink a couple on the front porch and hang out. And I mean, I think it's really, Greg was telling me a story the other day, tears came to his eyes because I forget someone had I don't know. It was a situation where I think someone had met someone else and, they decided to go out to dinner together. Just it's been a real community builder, even more than we ever imagined it could be, I think, which has really made us really psyched to, be here and do that and be a place that people can come to for that.
I think the guy said, he's like, "I love it here." He's like, "I don't mean to pry, but how are you doing financially?" and I was like, "Fine, we're great, it's all good." And he goes, "Oh, thank God, because I just don't want you to go away. This is my favorite place. I love coming here." So, but as far as the beers go, like Michelle said, we tend to be lighter on the ABV, so the alcohol level, and that's just something that Michelle and I, we like drinking those types of beers, so that's what we're brewing. Yeah. But I think we've tended to maybe it's the German influence, but we've had quite a few German beers.
I think it's Michael's
German. And
Michael's our co-brewer.
Yeah. And he's always talking about Hofmeister, our last name, and his last name's Fechter. So he's like, "Yeah, we're brewing good German beers. It's in our blood."
Can we pause before we go through the rest of the menu? Tell us a little bit about Michael coming into the business and how that happened.
So we opened up last Labor Day. And literally, I think the first day we opened the doors, it was pretty busy, which was cool. We didn't really know what we were doing, so we were playing around trying to figure out how to use the point of sale system, and everything was a little hectic. And this big tall guy came up and just was like, "Hey, my name's Michael, and I know you're busy, but if you ever need any help, I'd be more than willing to help out, in any way, with the business. I love beer and I want to help you see you guys succeed." I was like, "Who is this guy?" So when things calmed down, we decided we'd have coffee, a couple days later. And so Michelle and I met him, and we just sort of fell in love with this guy. And he was willing to offer his time and abilities to come help us mostly brew beer, and so I think Michael and I since then have brewed, I think it was like 50 batches of beer.
Oh, wow.
So he brews, he also bartends.
Yeah.
And he created our beautiful tap handles by hand.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he made those because he's also a woodworker.
Yeah.
He's just a fabulous guy. And he talks about the beers that he brews with all of our customers, which is great because people get to understand, how they're made and why we chose to make the ones we make. And
Well, it sounds like the way that he came into it with you sort of typifies what you're trying to do here.
Totally, yeah. And Michael's a good example of that. But we have several other people who are working with us who have sort of came in the same way. We attracted them in. Like we didn't really have to put out help wanted signs, if you will. So I think it was just sending out a good vibe, and certain people were attracted to that and have turned out to be great partners.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So turning back to the menu, I see we have a stout, a couple of pale ales, an IPA, a little bit of everything, some fruit beer. Tell us about it.
Well,
it's actually not a fruit beer.
No.
It's called the Kiwi Smash because it's made with New Zealand hops. Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have anything. We decided not to go too much on the crazy additives or adding too many. We don't
The
use
trendy stuff.
Yeah, we don't really do that. We stick to kind of basic, keep it simple, kind of, easy to drink, tasty, but nothing too crazy.
Right. What's been kind of fun is, we're looking at the menu now, and it has 10, 11 options. But throughout the summer and even throughout the fall, that will change. Like that board will change like week to week. So there's something fun about that, like something like what's coming next. I think some of the people that have enjoyed coming here, enjoy seeing what's on the beer menu this week versus last week. So it really, because our system's so small, we're able to brew quite a few different types of beers and not have too much of each one, and that lends itself to this sort of variety and kind of a constantly changing menu of beers.
A little bit new every time we come in.
Yeah. And we always have everyone wants an IPA, so we always have an IPA or two on the menu. And we usually have a pale ale on the menu and usually a lager of some sort. And then I like a malty beer, so like an amber or a brown. Mm-hmm. We usually have the stout on. We had a cream ale that was really popular.
We did a chocolate porter that was really nice. Yeah,
that sounds nice.
That was Michael's specialty.
Michael came up with that one.
So it's been fun to mix it up, and people come in and they're like, oh, it's fun to see a brewery that doesn't just have IPAs, because so many of them nowadays are just serving 7 different IPAs.
Yeah.
And we definitely have an IPA on the menu at all times, but
and they sell. It's a top seller.
People drink it.
Still in high demand.
Yeah.
But we also have 8 others that are tasty too.
And everything is being brewed right here on the premises.
Yeah, except for we have 2 beers that are brewed through a partnership with Dorchester Brewing in Boston, and that's the Hoffy's Golden and the Seagull Session.
And the seltzer.
The prickly pear seltzer.
Yeah, we do have a seltzer. It's actually a good add to our menu because lots of people come in and they're like, oh, what do you have besides beer?
Yeah.
And our license basically allows us to just serve malted beverages that we brew or contract brew.
Yeah.
But the seltzer is included in that. So that's been a nice alternative to people who don't necessarily want to drink a beer.
Yep.
The seltzer's been a real popular offering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Hoffy's Golden and the Seagull Session, also we have those in cans. Mm-hmm. So we've utilized Dorchester's canning facility for those 2 beers. So that's nice. People can walk away with a 4-pack. Yeah. Not all of our beers, but at least those 2. So that gives us some variety and options.
So we have some nibbles to go along with, some complimentary bites.
Sure. We decided we don't have a lot of space in our tiny little brewery, so we decided to partner with To Dine For, which is right down the street.
Yes.
In Canberra. They make the best food.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, and they are the nicest people you would ever meet. They are so kind. and they make really good food. So we basically get our food from them and then make it look pretty and serve a hummus plate, which can be made gluten-free. And they make buffalo chicken. So we have buff chick sliders. And we also serve, they don't make our pretzel, but we serve really popular rosemary buttered soft pretzel.
Sounds like a perfect complement to a nice cold beer.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And then if you want dessert, we serve Weinberg's whoopie pie, made by Weinberg's Bakery, also in Ken Burma. And little known fact, the whoopie pie is the state dessert of Maine, and I'm a Mainer. So
I did not know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So their whoopie pies are so good.
Excellent.
So, it goes well with the stout, actually. We've learned someone dipped it, and it was really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that's been so fun is starting a small business like we did, and then partnering with other small businesses in the community, like To Dine For and Weinberg's, banking with a bank 2 doors down. It's just like there's a lot of sort of pride and satisfaction with that, and when you're in it, like you start to understand how like the strength of small businesses in a community can really like build a fabric of support and sort of a strong community is built through those relationships, because everyone, you're buying from them and they're buying some other things, and we shop at the hardware store when we need things to fix problems here or whatever, and so you just start to see that velocity of money and commerce really supporting a community. So we're proud to be part of it now. We can see it in action.
That's tremendous. Thank you so much for joining us. One last thing, let's just cover your seasonal, what your hours are when you're here.
We're seasonal, so we're probably late April to early November. And we're open during the week, 4 to 9. So right now we're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 to 9. Saturdays and Sundays, 12 to 9. We often have live music on our side deck, call it Songs from the Side Deck. So a lot of Sundays and occasional Saturday, we'll put it on our social media.
So we're finding you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
We don't have TikTok yet, though.
Haven't mastered TikTok
Yeah,
yet.
we're getting a new website.
Yeah.
I think you need a high school intern.
Yeah, totally. One of our kids.
But Instagram, Facebook, and we'll work
We have
on
a
the
website.
others. Yeah.
Tremendous. Well, Greg and Michelle, thank you so much for joining us and allowing us to introduce you to our viewers. Everybody, get on Instagram, come on down to Doctor's Island. Wow, that was such a great visit with Greg and Michelle down here at Doctor's Island Brewing right on Nantasket Beach. Make sure you come on down. The beer is outstanding.